Significant differences between deep and shallow water fishing in autumn wild angling. Autumn is a time when fish become more active, but their feeding patterns can be unpredictable. As temperatures fluctuate throughout the season, fish behavior changes, making it essential for anglers to adjust their tactics. The real peak of the season doesn't hit until late autumn, so understanding the differences between deep and shallow water fishing becomes crucial for maximizing your catch. Here's a breakdown of how water depth affects fishing in autumn and how to choose the best spots at different stages of the season. 1. Fishing in deep waters. In autumn, fish are highly sensitive to temperature changes, and this impacts where they choose to gather. The key to fishing in deep waters is understanding the relationship between water temperature and fish activity. Early autumn. During the early part of autumn, water temperatures remain warm, so fish will naturally gravitate toward cooler deep waters. This is the ideal time to target deep areas where fish seek refuge from the heat. Mid-autumn, as the temperature starts to drop, fish become more active, but deep waters still remain a primary choice, particularly during the day. Fish are more likely to be found in deeper parts of the lake or river, except during cooler mornings and evenings when they may venture to slightly shallower depths. Late autumn. By late autumn, water temperatures have cooled down, and fish feeding patterns begin to shift. While deep waters can still hold fish, especially larger ones, it becomes essential to pay attention to wind conditions and the terrain of the water. The best spots are typically in areas with significant depth, especially for anglers looking to catch larger fish that rarely move into shallower waters. The transition to wind-sheltered spots also becomes important as strong autumn winds push fish toward calmer areas. In late autumn, deeper spots provide a safe zone for larger fish as they continue feeding heavily in preparation for winter, so this remains an essential fishing area. 2. Fishing in shaded areas. Shaded areas can be great spots for fishing, but they're not ideal at every stage of autumn. Early autumn. At the start of autumn, the temperature is still quite warm, and the difference between shaded and sunny areas isn't very significant. The dog days of summer may still be lingering, making it harder to find cooler waters in shaded spots. However, under bridge holes or similar structures, fish may seek temporary shelter from the heat. Mid-autumn, this is when shaded areas really shine. As the day-night temperature differences grow larger, mornings and evenings become cooler. This creates a notable temperature gap between shaded areas and sunlit waters, making shaded areas excellent for fishing. The cool, shaded waters attract fish, providing ideal conditions for anglers. Late autumn. By late autumn, the leaves are gone from most trees in northern regions, and shaded spots lose their effectiveness. Though it's still possible to fish in shaded areas, the overall catch rate tends to drop. In areas where trees have shed their leaves, this becomes less of a factor. The focus should then shift toward fishing near the banks or in areas where the terrain provides natural shading. 3. Fishing near the banks. Autumn fishing near the banks is a well-known phrase among anglers, but it operates under very different principles than spring fishing on shallows. Spring versus autumn. In spring, fish move to shallow waters as the temperature rises, looking for warmth and food. In autumn, the principle shifts. The air temperature drops, causing the water in shallow areas to cool and become more comfortable for fish. This is when fish start spending more time near the banks to feed in these cooler shallow waters. Timing. fishing near the banks is most productive after the autumn equinox, as temperatures begin to cool. Late autumn is the peak for fishing near the banks, as fish enter a feeding frenzy to bulk up before winter. They spend more time in shallow areas during this period, making it the best time to fish near shorelines. Shallow versus deep waters. While fishing near the banks suggests targeting shallow areas, it's important to remember that the best spots are typically where deep and shallow waters meet. Fish will move between these zones, feeding in shallow waters while still having access to deeper waters for safety. Look for locations with slopes, ridges, or underwater structures where shallow waters meet deeper zones for optimal success. Key takeaways. Early autumn, focus on deep waters as fish seek cooler temperatures. Mid-autumn, fish in both deep and shaded areas, especially during cooler mornings and evenings. Late autumn, shallow water fishing near the banks becomes ideal, but target areas where shallow meets deep for the best results. About the author. I'm a fishing enthusiast and blogger passionate about sharing tips and techniques for wild fishing. Follow me for more insights into fishing strategies, tips, and discussions for anglers looking to improve their skills. Like, save, and follow for more updates.